Hi there, and welcome to another 3 at 3 at This Is Milk. Today, we're joined by Adam Underwood, who is an employer engagement officer with the Larder. Hi there.
Oh, yeah.
And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Before we kick off with our kind of probing questions, Adam, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what the Larder does?
Yeah, the Larder is a social enterprise based in Livingston, and we do three things essentially. So we support people who are experiencing food insecurity through our food insecurity project. We've got an online bakery, physical bakery, and a community cafe, which we run to basically create funds for the organisation. And then I work for the training team. And what we do there is we train young people who have come from disadvantaged backgrounds who potentially have got barriers to work with employability training, really building kind of confidence and soft skills to be able to either move into hopefully college or into an entry-level job. So really looking to get them into a positive destination and to give them that support, which maybe they've not had during their school time or, you know, kind of from their backgrounds that they come through typically. So they're typically, care experience, young carers, maybe they've had ADHD, autism, or a various neurodiverse condition as well, which has maybe hampered their progress in school. So we work with them to become aspirational to hopefully achieve their goals and kind of move into the careers that they want to do.
It sounds like such a rewarding role and such an important enterprise that you guys are doing. So thanks again for sparing the time to be with us today. So the first question that I've got for you, Adam, is what type of barriers do entry-level employees face?
The biggest barrier is really kind of experience, to be honest, and that the skills that they have maybe aren't as honed, and especially you've seen come out of the pandemic. Normally, your traditional roles that a young person might go in for a first job is going to be retail, it's going to be hospitality, it's going to be a customer-facing role. So, with the pressures on those sectors to deliver, that kind of level of service. If you're starting in an entry-level role, when they're recruiting for these at the moment, they're looking for someone who's maybe got a couple of years experience because they need someone to hit the ground running. And it's kind of chicken and egg at the moment because you've got organizations who are building their headcount back up. They haven't got maybe necessarily the structure in place to be able to support somebody starting that journey and needing that kind of mentoring and that intensive training and that support along the way, because the demands of that business and the expectations of their customers is so polar opposite at the moment. So they're having to try and find, which way you probably see a lot of adverts at the moment, question like 2 years experience, a year's experience, when it's maybe a 16-hour, hour contract or a really kind of a part-time kind of a traditional maybe Saturday job is what kind of they're advertising for at the moment, but they're wanting that experience because they physically don't have the time and support there. So it's that gap at the moment, which, we're finding, especially with our young people, very difficult to fill when they're applying for jobs and they're actually going through that process as well. So that's the biggest barrier they've got really, is that really experienced piece and somebody being willing just to take that chance on someone who's maybe not got it.
Yeah, and is this, would you say that this issue, is this issue something that's always been around, or is it really just with the onset of pandemic and the kind of financial struggles that some of these organisations are going through since pandemic, it's just really kind of pronounced that issue even further?
Yeah, I think it's probably more pronounced rather than anything. I mean, before the pandemic, obviously you had a lot of headcount, so bringing those people in, you're able to actually have that time and buddy systems, proper inductions, and all that side of it, which still happen now, but they're probably a lot more condensed, I would think, to get those people back into those operational roles and get them back into the business doing the job. Whereas probably prior to the pandemic, you had that kind of, probably a couple of weeks kind of where you come, you do your induction potentially, then you'd kind of have a couple of sessions kind of, shadowing someone in those roles, learning little bits and pieces rather than being expected to be able to do the whole thing in kind of that straight off the bat. So I think the pandemic's really kind of exacerbated that a lot. And I think we're starting to see it starting to come back with people building headcount and looking at that. But there's been a there is starting to be a bit of a change in terms of employers looking at more recruiting for attitude rather than skill, because now they're at a stage where they've got that time and they've got those people in place in the organization to be able to train correctly. Because, you know, what would happen with a young person probably coming into one of those roles is it'd be completely overwhelming. They'd be absolutely, you know, feel they weren't doing the correct things, and it would just get to a stage where they would probably just say, you know what, this isn't worth the stress and, you know, the hassle of what I'm going through at the moment, because the expectation of what I need to do is so far removed from what I'm actually capable of doing at that moment. You know, and that's going to be the thing that's maybe putting a lot of, you know, younger people off maybe applying for that first job at the moment, I would think.
Yeah, just a little bit unsure, and I think that the pandemic has affected everyone's confidence, hasn't it? It's kind of dunted us all, really. So if, you know, if you don't have that base level experience, then you've really got nothing to kind of build on. So and what do you think organisations what do they currently do to kind of mitigate these barriers, if anything?
At the moment, you're looking at, you know, the reintroduction of work placements, you know, being open to that, obviously with COVID regulations and things like that. You know, just went through the pandemic, you know, obviously those companies shut those off. So those were really the first parts where those young people could get that exposure to that work, that proper work environment. And, you know, that 2 week or 3 week or 4 week placement you tend to do towards the end of kind of your school career. You know, these guys haven't been able to do that. So they were able to say, you know, for example, going to interviews, they'll have real life situations where they've had to deal with something on a work placement and that side of it. And the other thing is really, you know, companies coming and engaging with different people, different sectors, and looking at ways that they can recruit talent more broadly. So coming and speaking to the likes of the Larder and our employability students and so in their industry, and kind of building those relationships, you know, creating those kind of visits, you know, going and seeing those environments.
Come and speak to you.
And then, you know, looking at kind of developing those routes, you know, apprenticeships, and kind of looking at really pushing that side of it as well. So, you know, for a lot of people now, university is becoming very cost prohibitive if you're from potentially a lower income background. So an apprenticeship gives you that level of training, plus you're still earning the money as well. So it's looking at ways that they can really engage and really look at, you know, not kind of potentially, I think a lot of companies look at graduates as the answer to a lot of things, whereas, you know, guys who come through the apprenticeship route are probably far better placed to actually support your company in the long term. Plus you've built the skill base up. They're able to come in, and you've got a graduate coming in who then needs all that training. You've got an apprentice which has grown through and gone through those levels of entry level supervision, management, or whatever it is within those companies. They're now, you know, leading those teams. And, you know, people who are of a similar age, again, you know, if they see someone who's in their mid-20s, early 20s, who's leading those teams, then they're probably going to build a younger team around them, because, you know, 18, 19, 20-year-olds are going to be able to relate more to that person than maybe someone who's 30, 35, you know, 40 even, you know, trying to kind of bridge those gaps. So it kind of makes for a better kind of peer experience, I think, within those workplaces, and develop a better kind of culture as well as those, see, you know, the awareness of young people now and the whole range of issues around inclusivity and that side as well. So it probably makes it maybe even a more welcoming place for younger people to kind of take that first step, because they feel that they are going to have that acceptance. You know,
and they're amongst peers as opposed to, feeling like they're right at the bottom of the, you know, the work ladder. So, you know, it sounds like, you know, come and engage with the organisations like the Larder and similar organisations that are doing things like adopted intern, but you know, what should or could they be doing to make this kind of efforts more effective, would you say?
I think you know, a lot of companies should look at, you know, mentoring. It'd be a big thing. You know, I'm working at the moment and trying to build a mentoring proposition into our training, where we can job match young people into industries, because then it provides not only that growth for the team, for the person who's doing the mentoring, but it also gives that company, you know, they can actually say, hold their hands up, we're doing something different and we're doing something positive. We're trying to encourage people into our industries, especially industries where they might be not as glamorous, or, you know, necessarily be
everybody
like,
wants to be a gamer, right?
Yeah, exactly. So not necessarily like, the non-sexy jobs that people
Yeah.
in industries are struggling to fill at the moment. Mentoring people and actually showing them what's involved in it and kind of the different levels and the different places you can work within those industries as well would definitely be key. I think a lot of it as well is being more open to people from different backgrounds, obviously neurodiversity,
Right.
for example, looking at, ways that they can actually promote becoming a positive neurodiverse employer. So, when people say reasonable adjustments, they think that it's going to cost them a huge amount of money and a huge amount of time to do. And then looking at engaging with groups who, for example, we have, quite a few of our guys have neurodiverse conditions and neurodivergent, but these are the people that can help advise your business in terms of creating that, equality that you're looking for and bringing that into becoming a normal factor. You've got, a huge wealth of life experience that these people have got, that lived experience to be able to advise you what actually they need as a reasonable adjustment, because you might think it might be all of this. It might be, a quiet room to go into. It might be the fact that you need to give them a set of noise cancelling headphones if somebody gets overwhelmed and they just need to get up and walk out just and take 10 minutes. That's okay. So it's getting employers to kind of understand that. And then again, looking at, the way that these people think as well, and trying to find the jobs that fit them and that they're actually going to succeed into and actually going to play to their strengths. So the analytical sides and, the kind of, a lot of the creative side and storyboard, trying to make things a bit easier. So maybe it's not as heavy to read, writing screeds of emails, write big proposals. It's more visual. It's more that side of it. So it's getting them engaged in those kind of things as well to actually promote those career paths, because at the end of the day, you've got a huge wealth of talent out there that it's like anything.
Diversity of thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just sitting with people that, I felt kind of excluded from the workplace in the past for all the reasons that you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's, if you see people like yourself as well, that's going to encourage people to go through and to start applying for those roles, because they see somebody like themselves. And that gives them the confidence to go, well, that person isn't much different from me, so I can go and do that. Whereas, that kind of fear factor, sometimes, unfortunately, for a lot of the guys that we work with, they may be the very first person going into those environments. So that's the big challenge, is giving them the confidence that they can actually go into those environments and actually do well and actually, look at their aspirational careers and kind of, help them plot out what they can do and where they can go from there.
Again, such rewarding work and really, really interesting kind of talking to you today, Adam. So if anybody's watching this video and they're wanting to consider bringing in maybe entry level, some interns or help in mentoring, how do they go about contacting you or contacting Larder?
Yeah, so you can contact me through my email address, which is adam@thelarder.org. Very simple. Look through our website. There's details in there to contract tailoring team, other areas of the business as well. So if potentially someone's looking to talk to us about doing a session on how it is, how to, maybe look at how they can include stuff and become comfortable with, becoming more inclusive around neurodiversity or anything like that. We've got 2 neurodiverse trainers. So we kind of deal with it every day. The coping strategies, kind of things to understand. I'm trying to demystify it a bit more really than I think, which is the biggest factor for a lot of employers, is it's that fear of getting it wrong and being that media kind of splash page on the Sun, so and so's done this, and all those sound bites and everything that comes through that. That's, I think, one of the biggest barriers that a lot of employers face, because most people want to just give someone a chance, but it's that fear factor of if we get it wrong, it could really blow up on our faces. But, you've got to be at a stage where you just pull the Band-Aid off and you just go for it. That's basically what
they are the future, as Whitney said. Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a really interesting chat. We'll be putting some contact details up for the Larder and Adam on the resting frame of this video. But thanks again for joining us for our 3 at 3.
No worries. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.